So the Abbey Grange affair is based on the Sherlock Holmes story of the same name, and which was a little controversial when it was first released in 1893 because at the time mystery was not conceived. It was conceived as being very much like a thing which is analytical and based on like subtle clues. And the Abbey Grange affair really brought things forward by portraying a mystery entirely consisting of rope crossing minigames and rearranging statues in parlors.
He is in need of my presence.
Why are we playing as Watson again now?
Whenever he has asked for my assistance, it has always turned out to be entirely.
Every so often, you need to play as Watson just so you can appreciate what you have when you're Sherlock.
Has found its way into your collection.
Yes, they all seem worthy of.
However,
This is a very
I regret
moody
your
start to
fatal
this. This is
looking
like
at everything from the
moodier
point of
than
view of
the
story
train one,
instead of a
actually.
Scientific exercise.
Oh, Holmes, you.
I beg your pardon. I digress. It would be much
Now, of
better
course,
to
this
examine
conversation about,
than to try to
like,
convince you.
scientific exercises and stories, and like the perspective difference between Watson viewing cases narratively and Sherlock viewing
Yep, she's
cases
still there.
rationally, intellectually, is very much like very much copy pasted from the stories, if not literally, then in all essence.
Take a look.
It's one of like the main dichotomies between the characters, and that's actually kind of an interesting thing, is kind of having that metatextual element in the like late 19th century short stories, where a character of the short stories is criticizing the way they're written.
Why did it tell me to go to tab if there's
This was on
nothing...
the table, Holmes. You
If I don't have the letter with me? Watson's like getting impatient, like, well, come on then! That's not
It's
a
also
table, that's a
interesting-
desk.
It's also interesting because while obviously people are mostly reading the stories because they're thrilling mysteries, the way Watson writes them, having Holmes
A
specifically
wax seal
take
of the
umbrage
monogram
with the actual
E.
appealing, entertaining aspects of the stories sets him up as kind of an unsympathetic character.
That he was in a hurry
Like,
when he wrote
not
this letter.
hugely, but in a pretty distinct, if not overpowering way.
The Brackenstall family coat of arms.
It's a funny line.
My dear Mr. Holmes, I should be very glad of your immediate assistance in what promises to be a most remarkable case. It is something quite in your line. It's very Victorian writing. Except for releasing the lady, I will see that everything is kept exactly as I have found it, but I beg you not to lose an instant, as it is difficult to leave Sir Eustace there. Yours faithfully, Inspector Lestrade.
That's a really, really great hook.
Promising, as always. It appears to be a case of murder.
So you believe that Sir Eustace is dead?
I should say so. Lestrade wouldn't have sent for me for less.
Is Sir
His
Eustace a
writing
dog?
shows considerable agitation.
That would make
He is
this the
not
best
an
case ever.
emotional man.
Oh.
These people belong to.
Well, no, it's not
I
that
mean,
I
a
want
dog
a dead
and
dog,
also
but
not
The writing
dead.
paper,
Like,
the
oh, actually,
No.
the reason why you can't keep him there is it's the dog is moving
The
around.
crime was committed before midnight.
Holmes, how can
Yes,
you
it's a
possibly
terrible
tell?
mystery, Holmes. It turns out the family's patriarch has been a
He wrote
dog
his letter
all
at
these
3:30 in the
years.
morning. Imagine the chain of events.
We just thought he was inbred.
The police had to be called in.
I just want,
Yard was
like,
notified.
a
Lestrade
more
himself had been
absurd
released.
thing to solve than a murder,
Composed
without
letter
it
he
becoming
sent.
an adventure game
All
like the
of
last
that makes
story.
For a fair night's work.
It
I had a
makes
really
sense.
fun campaign
Lestrade
that was
also speaks
basically
of the
like
woman he
the main
released.
characters were Sherlock
And that
Holmes.
seems to indicate that she had been
And I
held
tried to
somewhere
make it so
during
that
the crime.
every mystery
Much time
was
has
like
been wasted.
really
Let us find a cab and
bizarre.
go to Abbey Grange immediately.
I think that kind of like
Live in hope of an
like
interesting morning.
to an extent that's what Sherlock Holmes is too. Like every mystery has an element of intrigue or strangeness to it. I think the farther you can push that, the more interesting it
I
is,
agree
really.
with you, Toby, that Watson's shoe is preferable to Mrs. Hudson's cold cuts.
What the fuck have you got against roast beef, Sherlock? Come on. What is going on with the trees in the back? Whoa, they're just spinning.
Did
What
you not
the
notice?
fuck? No.
That's what it's always been. It's been a texture they just scroll past.
I never fucking looked at... It's not even scrolling past the right way.
Ah, Mr. Holmes and Dr. Watson, here you are. I'm
There
very
is
glad that
way
you've
too
come.
much blue in this
Perhaps I should not
room.
have troubled you after all.
And
Never
why
enough
is
blue.
that?
Lady Brackenstall has come to her senses, and she has given so clear an account of the affair that there is not much left for us to do. You remember that Lewisham gang of burglars?
Oh yeah,
What,
the
the three
Lewisham burglars.
Exactly. The father and two sons.
Those people.
It's their work. They stole a silver
You know, there
sword.
probably is like a certain amount of selection bias, but I wonder how often it happens that Sherlock Holmes shows up and Lestrada's like, "Oh, the case has been solved. It's all sewn up from here. Don't worry, it turned out to be very straightforward." And actually been 100% correct, and Sherlock Holmes is just like, "Oh, let me be the judge of that." And then he like goes through and he sniffs at everything and he just looks over and he's like,
She's in the morning.
"Yep, pretty straightforward.
To raise a right.
Commendable diagnosis, Lestrade. Goodbye."
In the dining room. We haven't touched anything.
All right.
Oh, the body's in the dining room. Perfect. Just set the
Very
table.
good, Watson.
Watson, for the purposes of science, I'm going to have to ask you to eat this man's foot.
What?
Lady Brackenstall awaits you in the morning.
Which way is the morning room?
Lord Ramsay Brackenstall.
It's clearly to
Lord
the
Brigham
east.
Brackenstall. Sir Warthen Brackenstall. Lord George.
Lord
You know,
Bracken
I'm getting the
Brighamstall.
I'm getting the distinct impression that this family might not be particularly
Baron Lyndon Brackenstall.
uh,
The Brackenstall family seems
unwealthy.
rather austere.
Lady
Just literally.
I don't
just
think
said
they're
that.
working class, if you know what I mean. Just a hunch at this point.
Well, I am, of course, huffing as I stream this from my
Ladies, allow
Shelong.
me to introduce myself. My name is Sherlock Holmes.
My
I'm
embroidered
assisting Inspector
Shelong
Lestrade in
within
this
my
investigation.
gilded Victorian
Mr.
mansion,
Holmes,
but
I am
yeah,
aware
they're
of
they're
Mr.
well to
We
do.
were married only a year ago.
I am sorry for your loss. Please accept my deepest condolences.
What's
I
the
suppose
short
that
form
no
of
use my
Eustace?
attempting to conceal that our marriage has not been a
Stacey.
happy one. I fear that all would tell you that.
Maybe
Huh.
it might. Is it really?
Deny it.
Can you describe
wanna
to me
say
I don't
the
know,
events of
but-
yesterday evening?
Is it really necessary?
You
You've
know,
already
the
told
meaning
us
of names
that this
disputed,
all that happened.
naming guides
Oh,
cite
I've
two
read-
English derivations of Greek origins, Anastasia meaning resurrection for girls,
So
and
Eustace
Eustace
retired
meaning
about
bountiful
half-past
grain
10.
for
I
boys.
sat in this room until after 11.
That's what it
I
says,
shall open the book.
Stacy.
Before I went upstairs,
What says?
I
Where is
entered
it?
the
I
dining
want
room
to see.
fetch a candle, and
I just looked up Eustace nicknames.
Please, go on.
as I approached the French
Stacy
window, I found
Stash?
myself
What?
face to
Stash
face
with an E at the end?
elderly,
That's
broad-shouldered
not
man who
good
had
at
just
all.
stepped into the room. Close behind the first man, I saw two others. One of
Hugh?
them struck
Is this
me
kinda
a
like
savage
how
blow with his fist.
You
The
stay
English
Station.
Emily and the French Amelie sound like they're the same
When I
like
came to myself,
name, but they
I
actually
found
are
that they were
completely
securely
etymologically
tied me to a
unrelated.
dining room chair.
It's only
As
so
at
many
that instant,
syllables.
My unfortunate husband entered the room.
He fought with the intruders.
Yes, I think he had heard them, for he was holding his stick. But they were three, and he eventually succumbed. One of them, the elder one, struck him a terrible blow with the poker. I fainted once more. When I opened my eyes, they had withdrawn. Then my brave Teresa came to my assistance.
Did these
Her
three
eyes
villains
withdraw?
steal anything?
Yes, I found that
They had to
taken the
retreat.
silver from the
They were
safe.
routed.
But you can see for
Her
yourself.
eyes?
Yeah, they left for a while. We've collected them now.
Oh, God.
Alright, let's take a peek. I wonder if the big brute. Yep, okay, that's a clue. Turns
no,
out.
no, that's just jam.
It's strange because, like, it seems like she has two black eyes but it could also just be eyeshadow. But also, like, that just wasn't a thing people did back then.
Yeah. Old
Like,
bruises
not
of
like
the hand.
black eyeshadow like that.
People did just go in for the David Bowie, like, one eye eyeshadow look in the middle of the day in their Victorian parlor.
All right, what am I missing?
Is it down on the cuff of her thing? That looked red for some
Nope.
reason. I don't know why it bugs me, but it's red. I think that's just the lighting. But it looks wrong. It looks like there's like
Did you
blood
check
on
for
the ends
jewelry?
of her.
Besides
He's
the
already
brooch?
detected
We
so much,
highlighted the
Jeremy.
brooch and the wedding ring.
Does she have something in her hair?
I'm not seeing anything. Oh, hang on.
Does she have a Habsburg
Wow, that's
chin?
a very small clickable area.
Oh, what? Okay.
You mentioned
Pale
that your
cheeks.
marriage was not a happy one. Was there anything specific that was troubling you?
He was not a nice man when he was drunk.
Yes, every weekend he would fart every Timmy trumpet hit, one after the other, loudly into an ear
The
trumpet.
bruises on your hands are at least 1 week old. Your husband
He
caused
kept putting
those
whoopee
bruises?
cushions everywhere.
Oh, do you? Yes, he did. He was very angry at the time. Out of control. Again. Sir Eustace was a drunkard. To be tied to such a man for life is worse than death.
Your ladyship?
So I guess the big question in my mind immediately right now is, with Lord Brackenstall dead, who gets all the stuff?
Teresa.
Are you
I would
referring
like
to the
hear your
Brackenstall
testimony.
estate?
Certainly, sir.
No, I meant the illegal stuff.
As I sat by my
She's
bed
got a
His
very
colour, yeah.
young-looking
I saw
face
three
and
men
very,
in
like,
moonlight
prominent
lodging.
gray streaks in her
But I
hair.
thought nothing of it at the time.
And her voice doesn't match her face.
And then...
Yeah.
Went to
Like,
bed, and it was more
They
than an
clearly
hour
just
after
added
I
some
heard my
wrinkles to, like,
mistress
an of-age
and down
model
I
or something like that, and then
tied to the
added,
chair and him on the floor
like,
with
a
his smack.
gray highlights
Yeah, her
instead of,
hair
like, blonde.
looks awful compared to most hair in this game. Like,
It's just like
Look-
someone was a little off on the character creator, like, just, like, a tad. Make sure you get the hair.
don't know if there was anything on the hair.
Ugly streaks. Doesn't know
Poorly
how to
rendered
dye
hair.
No,
hair.
stop criticizing
Low
this
textures.
poor woman's hair, Alex.
I'm sorry, it's really
Very
bugging
tight.
me.
Can't you allow her to her room?
And she's also very short?
Yeah, I was just looking at that. I mean, Sherlock is kind of tall, so...
I mean, it's a valid question. On a mechanical level, can you even accurately and adequately simulate a Sherlock Holmes story without Tress effects installed?
It's NVIDIA Hairworks now, Red Sky. Like, this is why Geralt refused to appear in this game. Is he needed his hair to be fabulous and luxurious, and there just wasn't the hair technology available. Like, originally, the Witcher vision, that was going to be Geralt just kind of hanging out and helping out, but then they just had to roll that into Sherlock, and so now we have to deal with this unfortunate canon thing where Sherlock is also canonically a Witcher.
How fast do names change historically? I'm curious.
In what sense?
Well, I was just thinking about the name Eustace still, because that's just a weird-ass name, and I apologize to any Eustaces listening, but, like, I was wondering if it would work as, like, a Wild West name, like Eustace out on the farm on the Wild West of the frontier in America in the 1800s about this time, and I was wondering, like, was it just a very Victorian-era, mid to late 1800s name, and did they change names every 50 years, or, like, because now names change about every decade, like, people don't name their kids what they named them in the 90s or 80s.
Names
I
do
think
go
it's
through
highly
cycles and
variable.
fashions. Often people get named based on like a grandparent or something, and certain names wash back in. But honestly, like if you're talking America, like England, the same crop of names was kind of just cycling through. Like the same foundation names has been cycling through for a long ass time. Like if you were to walk into like a medieval peasant village, you would recognize a lot of their names as just normal. Just be like, "Hey, what's up, Tiffany?"
Wayne the Peasant.
Like it sounds like a joke, like to have
Kevin
like
the
to
peasant.
give like medieval peasants
Yes.
like names like Wayne and Kevin.
Oh
but
no,
I'm pretty sure
Kyle.
those would be pretty reasonable.
Kyle would be a good peasant name. Damn, Kyle.
Let's see. Kyle is a Gaelic name.
The description of the Randall gang provided by Lady
Kale.
Brackenstall is identical to the one in the Times article.
Well, that answers my question there. Whether that article was something that was already published about this thing, and I'm trying to figure out what the timeline is, or if that was something else that happened. It was something else that happened. So we've already got our first clue here, which I was already going like, oh, that seems possible. We're not going to touch anything on that right now. What is it with these small tables that are clearly desks?
So basically, if you went into the
English
medieval era, Scotland, you would probably find somebody who had the last name Kyle.
Oh my god.
Oh. It's just the faithful dog.
So Rutskarn has been taken away by the wolves.
Cut to a small pack of Pomeranians
the
dragging
wolves will
Rutskarn.
remember that.
Did they just take like a old photo and then like photoshopped the 3D model of the characters' faces on top? Because that's what it looks like.
Yeah, actually, I'm almost 100% certain that's what happened here.
It's very disturbing.
And that may be a CGI urchin as well, but this is pretty clearly photo bashed. Which, I mean, why wouldn't you, right? That photograph is like dead cert going to be in the public domain.
Are most definitely made by the picture frame.
You know, like I'd say, yeah, just fuck it, just call it a day. Just photo bash their heads into an unrelated Victorian photograph you have lying around.
There may be something important inside. I must ask Lady.
Oh my god, this investigation has just turned to like, let's fucking open their safe.
Yeah.
Hey, I need to see if there's anything cool in that safe. Can you open it?
Lady Brackenstall, could you open this wall safe?
No, it is my husband's safe.
Sherlock Holmes just like walks over to the butler, just like leans in intently. He's like, "I need to see your butthole."
Your ladyship.
My mistress is very tired.
No, that was like two stories ago, Risker.
Let us try to open
Oh
this
shoot,
safe.
right.
This safe can be cracked. I only have to pay attention. The
Okay,
dial
so
will
we're doing
vibrate
old school
when it's set
safe
to the
cracking.
correct number.
As you do.
Oh, this is like trying to find a stud with your knuckles. Like, it sounds easy when you read about it online, but then you try to actually do it, you realize, I don't know what the fuck I'm listening for.
Oh, that... No, I don't want to skip. What are the three red lines in the center?
I think those are supposed to be the dial. Like, the numbers, like the 3 digits.
Oh. Okay, I missed that. Okay, so it's 18. Or actually, it's not 18, but it's when the thing hits that point. Is it only that one that's going to be vibrating?
Yeah, you do one at a time, and then you confirm.
Oh, okay. So I'm not having to actually go through the motion of...
Yes, they simplified it. They made it easier than what you're proposing.
Why would they do that?
Which, I mean, this minigame is in every other adventure, like, first-person mystery horror game. And, like, it's always kind of, like, tedious to manipulate a safe in a video game. So I think that this is a pretty good compromise, actually. I've never seen so much hentai doujinshi.